There is a power moving through you, often unseen but always present, a silent current that shapes every moment of your existence. You carry it with you into every conversation, every challenge, every triumph, and every quiet decision that seems insignificant but builds your destiny. This force is belief. It is not a fleeting wish, not a fragile hope destined to dissolve at the first sign of difficulty. It is a deliberate, courageous decision to trust in yourself, to trust in the reasoning power bestowed upon you by nature itself. The Stoics taught us that our lives are not molded by external circumstances alone, but are fundamentally shaped by the judgments we hold within our minds. The true battleground is internal. It is not the cruel twists of fate or the towering challenges of life that defeat us. It is the whisper within that says, "You cannot." And it is the quiet, steady courage that dares to answer back, "Yes, I can." The story of belief is not one of mere words, but one of actions, one of daily living, one of steady transformation. Today, we are not here to cling to empty slogans or decorate our minds with shallow affirmations. We are here to build an unshakable foundation within ourselves, a fortress of mind and spirit that no storm can topple. This is the kind of strength the Stoics spent their lives forging, tested by loss, hardship, and the relentless challenges of human life. They did not wait for easier circumstances. They learned to master themselves amidst the chaos. Today, we will journey deep into the timeless principle: believe you can, and you will. We will learn not only to think it, but to live it, to cultivate a mind that stands tall, a heart that holds steady, and a soul that acts boldly. Let us begin this journey together as active builders of the life we are destined to live. Chapter 1. The Stoic Foundation of Belief. Where there is a will, there is always a way. Belief is not a fleeting thought or a simple preference for the Stoics. It is the deep architecture of your entire reality, the unseen blueprint behind every decision you make, every action you take, and every obstacle you overcome. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This profound observation reminds us that we are not passive recipients of fate, but active builders of our experience. What you allow yourself to believe shapes the very atmosphere you live in. If you convince yourself that you are weak, timid, or doomed to fail, your behavior will mirror those convictions. You will move hesitantly, speak with uncertainty, and shrink away from opportunity. Conversely, if you nurture the belief that you are strong, resilient, and capable, your actions will flow with confidence and courage. In this sense, belief becomes character, and character, formed moment by moment, becomes the destiny that unfolds before you. The Stoics understood, more clearly than most, that belief is a choice made each day. You are not a victim of your passing emotions or the opinions swirling around you. You have the incredible, often untapped power to guide and sculpt your mind toward what is noble and true. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." And what are judgments, if not the children of belief? If you change the belief from which your judgments flow, you change your entire relationship to life. You do not need new circumstances. You need new eyes, new convictions, a new internal world. Daily life does not simply invite you to test your belief. It demands it. Doubts rise in the mind like thick fog obscuring your way. Fear knocks incessantly, posing as wisdom. Challenges appear before you like towering walls, daring you to retreat. Yet belief grants you tools, the ladder to climb higher than you ever thought possible, the hammer to shatter perceived limitations, or the patience to find a winding, secret path around the obstacle. Without belief, you surrender before you even begin. You mistake the fog for a dead end. With belief, even the most imposing challenge becomes another mountain to scale, another opportunity to transcend your old self. It is critical to remember that belief must be rational. Stoicism rejects the folly of blind optimism. It does not encourage you to tell yourself pleasant lies or to pretend that hardship does not exist. Rather, Stoicism anchors belief in a clear, sober understanding of reality. You cannot believe yourself into changing the seasons or escaping mortality, but you can believe yourself into mastering your reactions, disciplining your desires, and aligning your actions with virtue. This mastery opens doors that seem closed to the panicked, the bitter, and the despairing. Practically, start each morning by asking yourself essential questions. What do I believe about myself today? Is it rooted in truth? Does it move me closer to the person I am capable of becoming? Think of your mind as a sword and your beliefs as the sharpening stone. Each morning is a chance to sharpen, to strengthen, to prepare. Dull, self-defeating beliefs must be cast aside without pity. Cling only to those beliefs that fortify your spirit and point you toward greatness. Believing you can is not a matter of ego. It is not the shrill cry of arrogance, nor is it the hollow sound of empty boasting that demands attention but crumbles under the weight of reality. True belief is the quiet, steadfast trust that resides deep within your own soul, whispering encouragement even when the external world offers only silence or doubt. It is the firm, enduring confidence in your own ability to face what must be faced, endure what must be endured, and adapt with wisdom when life demands a different approach. It is not reckless bravado, but a cultivated, disciplined trust in the inner tools you possess: resilience, patience, courage, and reason. Belief is the noble vow whispered not for others to hear, but for your own heart to anchor upon. While I do not control all things, I most certainly control how I meet all things. In this lies your invincible power. That power, honed painstakingly by discipline, tested in hardship, refined by introspection, and crowned by wisdom, is more than enough to carve a path through uncertainty and to weather the fiercest storms. From that deep wellspring of belief flows endurance, clarity, strength, and the unwavering certainty that though the path may be long and filled with obstacles, you will find a way to walk it with honor. From that inner foundation, everything truly becomes possible. Chapter 2. Facing Doubt as a Stoic. Doubt is not an enemy, it is a messenger. It shows you where your belief is thin, where your foundation has cracks. The Stoics welcomed these messengers, for they revealed where the real work began. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Doubt often thrives not on facts, but on fears born in the imagination. You imagine failure, and doubt grows fat. You imagine rejection, and doubt stretches tall. But when you confront reality directly, most fears shrink. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They imagined obstacles, losses, failures, and even death, not to feed fear, but to train resilience. By facing doubt head-on, they stripped it of surprise and robbed it of power. Each time you notice doubt creeping in, stop and ask, "Is this true? Is this within my control?" If it is true and within your control, act. If it is true and not within your control, accept it with dignity. If it is false, discard it like a rotten fruit. In daily life, build the unwavering habit of interrogating doubt rather than falling into the easy trap of obeying it. Picture a grand courtroom within your mind where every doubtful thought must stand trial, must present its evidence clearly and convincingly before it is permitted to remain. Force every whisper of fear, every echo of insecurity to answer for itself. Under such scrutiny, you will find that most doubts falter, stumble, and collapse under the weight of their own emptiness. They are shadows, not stone. A mind fortified by Stoic discipline not only confronts doubt, but embraces challenges with a steady and unwavering heart, recognizing each trial as an irreplaceable opportunity to prove, refine, and strengthen the integrity of your belief. Challenges are no longer perceived as threats, but as vital summons, calls to step bravely into the arena of life, armed not with bluster, but with steady resolve and patient endurance. Each obstacle encountered ceases to be a source of fear and instead becomes a sacred forge where the metal of your character is hammered and shaped. As you gather small victories over temptations, fears, doubts, and moments of weakness, you collect undeniable proof that you are capable of withstanding the relentless currents of life. These victories, however small they may seem, form the invisible scaffolding upon which great strength is built. As you overcome minor setbacks, those subtle, often unnoticed battles that unfold quietly within the heart, you lay down the bedrock for true and lasting greatness. No triumph is too small to matter. Each act of resistance against the pull of easy despair, each conscious choice to move forward when retreat seems inviting, forges within you an armor of resilience. Your belief deepens and matures, becoming less a fleeting feeling and more an unshakable conviction, much like a mighty oak that not only survives but thrives by drawing nourishment from even the stoniest, most unyielding soil. Its roots grow thicker, its trunk sturdier with every passing storm, making it almost impossible to topple no matter the violence of the winds. Such is the nature of belief, fortified by steady, daily, deliberate practice and a tireless refusal to surrender to fear or fatigue. True belief is not born from a fleeting moment of sudden inspiration. It does not arrive unbidden like a gift from the heavens, nor does it descend like a sudden thunderbolt. It is not a singular magical event to be waited upon. It is, instead, a living, breathing process, a slow and steady fire that you must choose to kindle and rekindle each and every day with mindful discipline and deliberate action. This fire must be tended carefully with vigilance, never left to die out through complacency. It must be fed consistently with countless small, courageous acts, those seemingly insignificant but vital decisions to act with virtue, to resist anger when provoked, to summon patience when frustration tempts you to rage, to keep promises made to yourself and others, even when breaking them would be easier. And above all, it must be protected fiercely against the ceaseless whispering winds of doubt, which seek to slip in unnoticed and extinguish your growing flame. Only through this patient, unrelenting, deliberate cultivation, through this daily labor of spirit, does true and lasting belief take root, spread its strong branches skyward, and flourish beyond the reach of adversity. Chapter 3. The Art of Endurance. Endurance is belief in action. When you endure, you prove that you believe you can continue. You demonstrate faith in your capacity to bear hardship without breaking. The Stoics saw endurance not as grim suffering, but as noble strength. Epictetus, born a slave and crippled early in life, said, "Difficulties are things that show a person who they are. Without trials, you cannot know the depth of your belief. Without effort, belief remains untested theory." The world will test you in countless ways, at times when you least expect it, and often when you feel least prepared. You will face rejection that wounds the heart, illness that weakens the body, loss that breaks the spirit, and betrayal that shatters trust. These are not punishments, nor cruel twists of fate sent to derail you. They are, instead, sacred arenas where belief is stripped of its illusions and sharpened into certainty through the fires of adversity. Each challenge you face and overcome becomes another stone, another crucial block laid down in the fortress of your mind, a mind that grows more impenetrable and resilient with each trial endured. Practical endurance is not forged in grand gestures or sudden displays of strength. It is built painstakingly, one small, conscious moment at a time. When frustration rises like a tide threatening to sweep you away, breathe deeply and stay your ground. When fear slithers into your mind, whispering its insidious doubts, take one bold step forward regardless. When exhaustion drags at your heels, whispering of surrender and retreat, summon your last reserves and take one more step, however small it may seem. The Stoics did not ask if the journey was easy or fair. They only ever asked one question: is it worth it? And the answer, always and unshakably, was yes. Remember this well. The oak does not grow strong despite the storm, but because of it. It is the furious winds and the pounding rains that drive its roots deep into the earth, giving it strength beyond measure. So too does your belief become truly unshakable, not despite your trials, but precisely through them. Through every hardship weathered, every fear faced, every painful step taken forward. Endure not with bitterness, but with pride, knowing that each moment of persistence is another thread woven into the unbreakable fabric of your character. Chapter 4: The Quiet Confidence of Right Action. True belief expresses itself not in loud boasts, but in quiet, consistent action. The Stoic path is not one of grand declarations, it is one of daily integrity. Marcus Aurelius advised himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In the same spirit, do not spend your days convincing yourself or others that you are capable. Spend them proving it through your deeds. Confidence rooted in right action grows naturally, organically, like a great tree whose roots delve deeper with every storm it endures. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, even the smallest ones, you send a signal to your subconscious that you are trustworthy, capable, and resilient. When you act according to your values, not swayed by fleeting emotions or public opinion, you reinforce an unshakable foundation. When you meet difficulty with composure rather than panic, you embody the very principles the Stoics held sacred. Belief then flourishes, not like a fragile plant susceptible to every change in weather, but like a well-watered, enduring tree that thrives across the seasons of life. Do not seek validation from others, no matter how tempting it may be. The Stoics issued repeated warnings against this pitfall, recognizing it as a surefire way to lose your path and dilute your inner strength. Seneca wisely observed, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." When you live for approval, you become a puppet, your strings pulled by the ever-changing opinions of others. Live today rightly, according to your reasoned principles, and belief in yourself will grow naturally and powerfully, needing no applause to sustain it. Each small victory matters deeply, often carrying a significance far beyond what the moment itself may suggest. Never underestimate the profound and lasting impact of a single courageous choice, no matter how small it may seem at first. Every decision to act with courage rather than fear strengthens the sinews of your inner character. Every time you choose wisdom over impulsive emotion, you refine the sharpness of your reason and judgment. Each moment you summon patience in place of explosive anger, you add another crucial thread to the durable fabric of your spirit. With every one of these decisions, you lay down yet another immovable, time-tested brick in the grand cathedral of your character. Each choice is like a sacred stone, placed deliberately and lovingly, contributing to the construction of something vast, resilient, and beautiful. Brick by brick, choice by choice, breath by breath, and day by day, you construct a monument, not to fleeting ambition or hollow recognition, but to enduring greatness, to a life marked by steadfast virtue and profound inner strength. And with each carefully laid stone, With each quiet victory over the forces of doubt, fear, and weakness, your belief in yourself rises higher and higher. It grows taller, stronger, and more magnificent than the day before, reaching toward the heavens like a towering spire built upon a foundation that no storm, no calamity, and no critic can shake. In practice, focus with precision and unwavering attention on the next right action, the single step that is within your immediate control. Resist the temptation to be paralyzed by the vastness of your goals or overwhelmed by the towering height of your ambitions. The greatest cathedrals were not raised overnight, nor were they built in blind haste. Great walls, magnificent temples, and timeless monuments are constructed one stone at a time, with steady hands and patient hearts. Trust in the humble power of the next stone. Trust that each small action, when placed deliberately and skillfully, contributes to a structure far greater than the sum of its parts. Believe deeply that you can place the next stone, no matter how weary you feel or how distant the summit seems. Then, without hesitation or drama, place it well, with care, with intention, and with the quiet pride of someone who understands that greatness is not achieved in a single dazzling act, but through 1,000 simple, steadfast moments strung together with devotion. Chapter 5. Building the Habit of Belief. Belief is not a momentary feeling. It is a cultivated habit, grown through repetition and intention. Like a muscle, it strengthens with use. The Stoics trained daily. They did not wait for ideal circumstances. They understood that life is a training ground. Every conversation, every obstacle, every temptation is an opportunity to practice belief. Create rituals that anchor your belief. Morning reflections, midday check-ins, evening reviews. Ask yourself often, am I acting as someone who believes in their own strength? If not, adjust. Gently, firmly, like a potter shaping clay. Guard your inputs. The mind, like a garden, grows what is planted. Be mindful of the stories you consume, the voices you listen to, the environments you inhabit. Surround yourself with reminders of strength, resilience, and clarity. Practice gratitude. It is one of the purest and most powerful forms of belief. Gratitude is not a shallow gesture. It is a deliberate declaration of trust in the sufficiency of this moment, in the resilience of your spirit, and in the abundance of possibility ahead. Gratitude declares, I have enough. I am enough. This, or something better, is unfolding for me. I trust in my ability to adapt, to persevere, and to grow stronger each day. In practicing gratitude, you ground yourself firmly in reality, while also opening the door to growth, recognizing both what already is and what can still become. It strengthens your capacity to meet life with clarity, calm, and courage. Belief is not a passive inheritance passed down from others, nor is it a birthright automatically secured at your first triumph. Belief is a living, breathing construction project requiring daily effort, reflection, and renewal. Some days, you lay bricks carefully and deliberately, stacking confidence upon experience. Other days, you mix the mortar, binding small moments of effort into a cohesive whole. And there will be days when the structures you previously built reveal themselves to be crooked, built on faulty assumptions, old fears, or outdated habits. On those days, you must summon the courage to tear down what no longer serves you and to rebuild something stronger, truer, more enduring. This is the nature of real belief, a dynamic, evolving structure shaped by perseverance, humility, and unwavering intent. Trust this process, even when progress seems invisible, even when you feel you are moving backward. Real strength is born in the invisible work. The Stoics taught that the highest good lies in living according to nature, and to live according to nature is to live with reason, courage, resilience, and the inner certainty that you are capable of meeting whatever trials life may bring. Human nature is not frailty or cowardice. It is the capacity to think, to endure, to grow, and to overcome. To believe in yourself is not arrogance. It is an act of reverence toward the extraordinary faculties you were born with. Believe you can, with every fiber of your being, even when the evidence around you seems thin and the world offers no applause. Walk as if you already do, with the quiet, steady stride of one who knows that belief is not something that needs to be shouted from rooftops, but something that breathes silently within your every action. Think deeply, with clarity and conviction, trusting the disciplined mind you have shaped. Speak with purpose, your words carrying the quiet weight of someone who is certain, not arrogant, grounded not in illusion, but in reasoned faith. Act with deliberate strength, every movement a reflection of the resilient spirit you have forged through conscious effort and daily discipline. Step by step, choice by choice, even when progress feels invisible and victory feels far away, you will be carving yourself into something extraordinary. You will be building not merely a life of outward achievements, but a life of inward triumph. The kind of existence where belief made real becomes undeniable, unstoppable, and unshakable. Through your consistent living testimony, you will stand as proof that the Stoic principle is eternally true. Believe you can, and in time, you surely will. Chapter 6. Resilience is built, not given. Resilience is not gifted to the fortunate. It is not a talent you either possess or lack. It is a living skill, an art you sculpt with patience, reflection, and effort. The Stoics understood that resilience was cultivated precisely in the moments when you feel most tempted to give up. Resilience is the cumulative weight of every time you stood back up after falling. In a world of easy comforts and fleeting pleasures, true resilience stands as a rebellion. It whispers that the harder path, the path of growth, is the one most worth traveling. When hardship strikes, you have a choice, to crumble or to strengthen. The Stoics chose strength not by accident, but by conviction. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Difficulty is not the interruption of your path, it is the path. Practicing resilience means reframing hardship entirely, seeing it not as an interruption to be avoided, but as a vital ally to be embraced. Every obstacle becomes your training partner, patiently pushing you to grow beyond your old limits. Every rejection becomes a lesson in persistence. Every disappointment becomes a sharpening stone for your patience and endurance. Every setback becomes a forge where the raw metal of your character is melted, hammered, and shaped into something stronger. When you recognize hardship for what it truly is, a sacred teacher rather than an enemy, you cease to fear it. You welcome it, even seek it out, as the forge in which your soul is tempered into steel. In practice, train resilience like a living muscle that demands daily and deliberate effort to grow stronger, more flexible, and more enduring. Challenge yourself intentionally, pushing the limits of your comfort zone regularly and consistently, knowing that growth does not come through ease, but through struggle. Choose discomfort on purpose, not as an occasional act of bravery, but as a way of life, a conscious philosophy, rather than waiting passively for life to impose hardship upon you. Embrace adversity in small, measured, and deliberate doses. Take cold showers that teach you to master your initial resistance and calm your racing mind. Rise early when your body pleads for the warmth and comfort of sleep. Complete daily sit-ups, push-ups, or other exercises that test both your physical and mental stamina, and engage in difficult conversations that demand not only courage, but also honesty, vulnerability, and humility. Seek out situations that test your patience, your endurance, and your self-discipline. Walk when it would be easier to drive. Finish tasks when distractions call for your attention. Fast occasionally to remind yourself that you are not ruled by every appetite. Push yourself steadily beyond the boundaries of convenience and luxury, choosing instead the rugged path that polishes your character and deepens your resilience. Each voluntary act of discomfort becomes a silent but powerful vote cast for your future strength and capability. Each time you step willingly into discomfort, whether small or great, you announce with quiet authority that your belief is not a fragile, ornamental thing meant for display, but a durable, enduring force forged, hammered, and tested by the fires of purposeful living. This is how you make resilience not just a hope, but a reality embodied in your daily actions. Chapter 7. Mastery over emotion. Emotion is powerful, but it must serve you, not enslave you. The Stoics taught that our emotions are born from our judgments. Therefore, if your judgments are wise, your emotions will align with reason. If your judgments are false or shallow, your emotions will betray you. Believing in yourself does not mean suppressing emotion. It means mastering it. It means standing amidst the storms of fear, anger, sadness, and doubt without letting them steer your ship. Epictetus said, "When we are thwarted or disturbed, it is not by things themselves, but by our opinions about them." In daily life, observe your emotions without being consumed by them. Name them. Question them. Ask, what judgment lies beneath this feeling? Then go deeper. Is that judgment true? By dissecting emotion at its root, you expose its vulnerability. Emotions feed on assumptions, starve them with inquiry, and they lose their dominion. Mastery over emotion is the highest and most profound form of belief in your own mind. It is not a fleeting victory seized in a moment of passion, but a lifelong practice, a sacred and continuous discipline of self-command honed through countless hours of disciplined effort, painful reflection, and careful refinement. It is an active engagement with your inner world, a process that demands rigorous honesty with oneself, the bravery to confront uncomfortable truths without evasion, and the humility to accept your imperfections without allowing them to define or paralyze you. It is not enough merely to wish for control over emotion. It must be forged through repeated trials, by choosing reason over impulse again and again until the habit of inner calm becomes second nature. When you can calmly and resolutely face loss without becoming embittered, endure insult without descending into rage, meet fear without losing your clarity, and resist temptation without surrendering your integrity, you have demonstrated a rare and unshakable strength, a strength that cannot be borrowed from the example of others, imitated by outward behavior, or faked through superficial appearances. Such composure does not emerge by mere chance, by luck, or by accident of birth. It is the hard-earned fruit of countless internal battles fought and won quietly, often painfully, in the silent, unseen chambers of the mind and soul where no applause or recognition can reach. Each instance of poise in the face of chaos, each moment of restraint when anger boils close to the surface and tempts you to lash out, each breath taken in calm reflection when anxiety claws fiercely at your heart and urges you to panic, these are the invisible, essential victories that build you from the inside out. They are the solid bricks laid carefully, one by one, in the foundation of your inner fortress. Layer upon layer, choice upon choice, thought by disciplined thought, moment by intentional moment, you create a true and lasting power within you, a kind of indestructible internal armor that cannot be penetrated by the shifting fortunes, betrayals, calamities, or cruelties of the external world. True mastery over emotion is not the dull suppression of feeling, nor is it the cold denial of natural human impulses. It is the wise, conscious, and deliberate governance of those emotions, the ability to hear anger, fear, sadness, and desire knocking loudly and persistently at the door of your mind, and to decide, consciously, calmly, and with a heart guided by reason and virtue, whether to invite them in for examination or to let them pass harmlessly by without disturbance. When the storms of emotion rage with the ferocity of thunderclouds, when external events swirl around you in chaos, confusion, and destruction, when the ground beneath you seems to tremble with uncertainty, when relationships fracture like brittle glass under pressure, when cherished plans unravel and collapse before your eyes, and the future itself appears as a bleak and hostile landscape, it is precisely then that your true strength is revealed. In those moments of supreme trial, when the easy paths of despair and anger beckon, and yet you remain grounded, your thoughts guided unswervingly by reason, your heart anchored steadfastly by unshakable courage, your actions aligned unwaveringly with virtue, dignity, and wisdom, you have proven beyond any doubt that your belief is not a flimsy mask worn for public display. It is not a brittle shield you hold up merely to impress others with appearances. It is not a fragile ornament that crumbles at the first real test. Rather, it is your deepest, truest nature, the hardened core of your being, the immovable, unshakable bedrock upon which your character stands unthreatened and unbroken. It is the fortress within you that nothing external can ever breach, no matter how fierce the storm or how ruthless the adversary. It is the enduring flame that no amount of darkness can ever extinguish, the inner lighthouse that continues to shine its steady light through the fiercest of tempests. This invincible spirit, born of conscious discipline and unwavering belief, stands as the clearest, brightest testament to your ultimate and hard-won mastery over yourself, over your emotions, and over your destiny. Chapter 8. Vision and Daily Effort. Belief without vision is aimless, like a ship adrift on open waters with no destination in sight. It floats, it moves, but it achieves nothing. Vision without daily effort, however, is even worse. It is self-deception. It offers the illusion of progress while the roots of inaction quietly anchor you in place. The Stoics, wise and clear-eyed, knew that true greatness comes not merely from seeing what could be, but from binding that vision to disciplined daily action. They understood that dream and deed must be welded together, inseparable, if the soul is to rise to its fullest potential. Have a vision that compels you, not a lukewarm wish, but a roaring fire within. Picture a life built on courage when fear seems easier, on wisdom when ignorance tempts, on justice when selfishness lurks, and on temperance when excess calls. See that life clearly, not as a distant fantasy, but as something inevitable if you stay the course. Feel the gravity of that vision every morning pulling you from bed, every evening guiding your final thoughts. Yet after allowing yourself to be stirred by that vision, return at once to the here and now, this day, this task, this step. Marcus Aurelius, burdened with the rule of an empire yet clear in mind, reminded himself daily, concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. He knew that even emperors could become lost without focus. He knew that towering visions were not realized in grand, sporadic efforts, but in the relentless excellence of simple deeds. The next right thing, done not hurriedly, not mindlessly, but with complete heart and careful attention, creates an unstoppable momentum. One drop at a time, a river carves through stone. In practical terms, bring your vision down from the clouds and plant it firmly, deeply, and purposefully in the rich soil of deliberate action. Write it down, not loosely or vaguely, but with vivid, almost painful clarity that demands your full honesty. Describe it so precisely that it becomes a living thing, something you can almost touch, something that feels real enough to chase with your whole being. Speak it aloud each day until it stops sounding like a distant dream and starts resonating like a sacred vow, a solemn promise you are determined to fulfill. Create visual reminders, tangible tokens, and meaningful rituals, daily anchors that keep the fire burning even on the coldest, most discouraging days. Place symbols around your home, your workspace, your life, places you cannot ignore, so that your vision becomes woven into the very fabric of your everyday existence. Let the sight of them pull you back to your deeper why when temptation, fatigue, or discouragement tries to drag you off course. Without exception, ask yourself each morning and evening, what small but purposeful action can I take today to move closer to that vision? Make this question your ritual. Let it become the rhythm of your days. Understand that no movement is too small to matter, and no effort is too insignificant to count. The mighty oceans are formed from countless tiny drops. Towering mountains arise from the patient gathering of grains of sand. Lasting legacies are forged through countless unnoticed moments of discipline, courage, and faithfulness. It is the humble daily actions, repeated over time, that build greatness. Believe you can, not by waiting for some grand, miraculous opportunity to fall into your lap, or relying on sporadic bursts of passion that fade as quickly as they ignite, but by showing up fully and wholeheartedly today. Show up with your mind sharpened like a warrior's sword, ready to cut through distractions and doubts. Show up with your heart burning with quiet but fierce commitment, a commitment that does not waver at the first sign of difficulty, but deepens with every challenge. Show up with your soul wide awake, alert to the sacredness and the preciousness of this very moment, knowing that now is the only time you truly possess. Believe you can by anchoring yourself completely to the present, to this breath, to this step, to this choice, while keeping your inner eye alight with the vision you are steadily moving toward. Refuse to be discouraged by how far you have yet to travel. Refuse to belittle the importance of the next small act of discipline, kindness, courage, or persistence. Every next breath taken consciously, every next step taken with purpose, every next moment lived in alignment with your vision is a quiet yet thunderous affirmation of your belief. This quiet, persistent work is enough, more than enough. It is the unseen forge where true greatness is crafted, not in explosive moments of triumph, but in the slow, steady accumulation of disciplined effort. It is the relentless rhythm that moves mountains grain by grain, that carves rivers through unyielding stone drop by drop, that transforms dreams from wisps of hope into solid, undeniable reality. This work, though it may seem invisible to the casual observer, is the invisible architect shaping destinies. It is the pulse that first reshapes your inner world, strengthening your resolve, refining your character, purifying your focus, before it extends outward to touch the lives of those around you, inspiring others not by noise, but by example. Each silent choice, each unnoticed sacrifice, each patient step becomes part of a much greater symphony, an enduring masterpiece of perseverance and willpower. Through this steady, unwavering commitment to your highest vision, destinies, yours and those of countless others who draw strength from your example, are fulfilled beyond measure. A legacy is not written in grand, fleeting gestures that crumble with time, but in the quiet excellence of daily choices, stacked carefully, layer upon layer, until they form a towering monument of achievement and integrity. This is the invisible power of belief made real, a force that alters the fabric of your life and echoes far beyond the boundaries you can presently see. Chapter 9. Invincibility of the Inner Citadel. The Stoics often spoke with a deep and reverent awe about the inner citadel, that sacred, unassailable stronghold within you, the final refuge that no external event, no matter how violent, chaotic or shattering, could ever breach. Believing you can, at its deepest and most transformative level, is ultimately about carefully, patiently, and fiercely constructing and protecting this citadel. It is not built hastily, nor can it be assembled through moments of inspiration alone. It must be tended to daily, nurtured as a gardener tends to a precious orchard, ensuring each root grows deep and each branch strengthens. It must be guarded as a vigilant sentinel stands atop a fortress wall, ever alert to the subtle, creeping forces that would seek to erode your strength from within. Life can, and inevitably will, strip away everything external you have leaned upon: your possessions, your status, your reputation, your honors, your titles, your relationships, and even the vitality and strength of your own body. Fortunes rise and fall with the relentless tides of time, indifferent to human desires. Friendships may fray under the pressures of life. Loved ones may be lost through fate, through distance, or through the natural unfolding of change. Health, that fragile blessing, may falter without warning. Plans, no matter how carefully laid, may unravel like frayed cloth against the grinding, indifferent forces of reality. Circumstances will shift unpredictably, with the erratic and sometimes violent winds of fate scattering your expectations like dust across an endless plain. Yet none of these losses, none of these external trials, no matter how severe, can seize your will from you unless you, through negligence, through bitterness, or through surrender, permit them access to your soul. The towering and enduring strength of your inner citadel cannot be torn down by the ravages of fortune unless you, by abandoning your vigilance, allow its slow erosion. Your will, your reason, your principles, these are your inviolable treasures, hidden and guarded in the deepest sanctum of your heart, immune to all the assaults of fate if you so choose to protect them. Epictetus, born into slavery, subjected to indignities, poverty, and hardship, nonetheless constructed his inner citadel brick by steady brick through tireless self-mastery and unwavering loyalty to his inner freedom. Marcus Aurelius, burdened with the crushing weight of ruling an empire through betrayal, plague, and war, nonetheless ruled himself with even greater discipline than he ruled the vast Roman world. Neither man allowed the brutality or chaos of external events to poison the sanctity of their inner peace. They placed their faith not in the favor of fortune, but in the fortress of their disciplined, rational minds, the invincible power that resides within every person willing to cultivate it. Every challenge you encounter is a test of your citadel's strength. Will its walls hold, or will fear, doubt, and resentment creep silently past your gates? Fortify your inner citadel through daily and conscious action. Strengthen it when anger flares hot and you choose restraint. Deepen its foundations when frustration urges you to lash out and you instead choose patience. Cement its towers higher when fear tempts you toward cowardice and you stand firm. Reinforce its gates every day with reflection, meditation, self-examination, and rigorous honesty. Populate its sacred halls with the eternal virtues: courage to face adversity, justice to act rightly even when unnoticed, wisdom to see things clearly and truthfully, and temperance to master your desires before they master you. In the end, when the storms of fortune roar their loudest and the night of uncertainty seems unending, it is your inner citadel, your silent, shining fortress of belief, that will still stand. Like a lighthouse cutting through a raging sea of blackness and chaos, it will guide you home. It will shelter you from despair and anchor you to something larger, something eternal within you. It will remind you that beneath all shifting circumstances, beneath all outward appearances, there exists an unbreakable, unconquerable soul, the true you, shining undiminished through the darkest storms. Chapter 10. The Final Triumph of Belief. You are not here to live a small, fearful life. You are not meant to shrink from your own potential, to hide your light beneath layers of doubt and hesitation. You are here to embody your full potential, to stretch beyond your imagined limits, to break through barriers both real and invented, and to become a living, breathing testament to the fact that belief, when shaped by reason, sharpened by discipline, and fortified by persistence, can forge an unbreakable soul, a soul that shines even through the darkest storms. The final triumph of belief is not in winning every battle, nor in avoiding every hardship. It is far more profound, far more enduring. It lies in becoming the kind of person for whom both victory and defeat, both success and failure, are not ends in themselves but stepping stones, invitations to growth, refinement, and deeper self-understanding. It is in transcending the need for validation from outcomes altogether, seeing them not as final verdicts, but as fleeting markers along the endless and noble journey of self-mastery. It is living so authentically, so unapologetically aligned with your truest nature, that no external event, not devastating loss, not painful rejection, not even the looming shadow of death, can diminish your spirit or pull you off the course you have chosen with clear mind and firm heart. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we are given a short life, but that we waste a lot of it." Carve this wisdom deep into the bedrock of your consciousness. Let your belief animate your existence, making your life rich, rich in meaning, rich in action, rich in steadfast integrity that no changing tide of fortune can wash away. Let your days be so full of deliberate purpose, courageous deeds, and unyielding commitment to virtue that even if your time upon this earth is brief, it will blaze so brightly with intensity and honor that it will outshine 100 idle, wasted years. Believe you can, not because the path will be smooth, for it rarely will be, nor because success is guaranteed, for it never is, but because believing in your own potential is the truest, most sacred, and most courageous act of devotion you can offer to your own soul. It is the quiet, relentless assertion that you are worthy of the journey, worthy of the trials, and capable of growth beyond anything your fears might whisper to you. Believe you can, and you will. And when you do, when belief is no longer just an occasional thought, but is woven into the very fabric of your mind, your every word, your every breath, and your every deliberate action, you will inevitably inspire others to believe as well. You will not inspire through grand declarations or hollow speeches. No, your impact will flow through the quiet, radiant, undeniable power of a life fully lived, a life carried forward by unwavering conviction, quiet dignity, and fierce, unbreakable grace. Step forward now, not hesitantly, not questioning whether you are worthy, but boldly, with the deep inner certainty that the very act of stepping forward affirms and strengthens your worth. Every step you take, every moment of courage you summon, is an act of devotion to the life you are capable of creating. Trust deeply, more deeply than you ever have before, in your own boundless ability to endure hardship with dignity, to grow stronger through each blow that life delivers, and to rise again and again, no matter how many times you stumble, no matter how violently you fall. Every setback, every bruise, every moment of doubt is a piece of your training, forging you into something greater than you were before. The path of greatness, the path of virtue, the path of true fulfillment, it stretches endlessly before you, silent and luminous, waiting eagerly for your decision to take ownership of it. It asks only for your courage, your resilience, your fierce consistency, and your unwavering willingness to take the first step, and then the next, and the next, regardless of how daunting the journey may appear. Your belief is the key that unlocks the hidden doors of opportunity and strength within you. the sacred compass that guides you when all familiar landmarks vanish into the mist, and the unstoppable engine that drives you forward when even the last embers of hope seem to flicker and fade. Walk this path boldly, walk it proudly, walk it fearlessly, with your head held high, your spirit unbroken and unshaken by the furious tempests of fate, and your heart ablaze with a fire so fierce, so pure, so beautifully enduring that no storm, no matter how ferocious, no matter how merciless, no matter how prolonged, can ever extinguish it. Let that fire illuminate your way through the darkest nights and lift you higher in the brightest days. That fire within you is eternal, an immortal flame planted in the core of your being. Nurture it tenderly with hope, with faith, with steadfast action. Protect it fiercely from the creeping winds of doubt and despair. Trust it completely to guide you, unerring and undaunted, to the highest, noblest version of yourself, the self that was always waiting to be realized.